This is my maternal grandfather, David Edry Morton, who was born in 1900. This is my father, Paul Verdane Thomas. He was in the Navy, Marines, and then the Air Force. This is my father's father, Earl Thomas, and he was in the Navy as well on a ship. This is my son, Jeffrey Ryan Taylor. He is the love of my life, and I'm very proud of him. He is in the Coast Guard going on 5 years now. Hi, my name is Esabel Maria Taylor Beltran, and I'm doing this video because I want to talk to everybody out there about what it's like as a counselor and working with vets and my experiences. I do come from a very long generational family of vets. I can trace it back to Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. So I'm very, very patriotic, and I'm proud of my family, and it's an honor to be talking on this subject. It's a very noble subject, and the word needs to get out there for the vets that are suffering and in pain, emotionally and mentally and physically as well. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. My license is from Washington State, and I just moved to Texas. So a lot of experience working with the vets, but in a private practice setting. Mostly Vietnam vets, interesting enough. Just recently, I have listened to my nephews. I have 3 nephews that have served in Afghanistan, Iraq, and they've told me of their experiences, and it was heart-wrenching. But the good, heartening part of the story with the young generation now is they're talking about it. And that's the message I want to get out as a counselor, that it's so important to not lock yourself up and isolate, because it's a pain deep, and I can't feel it, but I can listen to you and I can help you in any way. And there are so many other counselors and people out there that are willing to listen to you and be there with you. And it's not about telling you what to do, and it's not about talking about the shame and the horrors of what you saw, because as counselors, nothing shocks us. We hear everything, and our hearts are in the right place when it comes to helping people. That's what we do. And my heart is especially goes out to the vets, mainly because of my background. I grew up an Air Force brat, married my husband was in the Air Force. He was a Vietnam veteran as well. He flew fighter bombers. And the sad thing with my ex is he came back and he didn't talk about it. And then I slowly saw a pattern that the Vietnam vets were not talking, and I saw so many of the veterans that were shunned and people just turning their backs on them. And it made me sick. It made me sick. And the alcoholism and the drug abuse and the suicide, and the fact that the suicide is still happening now is a very big concern to me. So what I want to say, my message is, please, please, please know that there's people out there that will listen to you. If you can contact Glenn Towery, I will be there. If you want to call me, I can talk to you, give you encouragement with no judgments whatsoever. And it's important to find relatives and family members and friends that support your military service. And if anybody doesn't support you and has different politics, you know what? Walk away. Walk away. They're not worth it. They're not worth it. You need to be around positive, supportive people for you that are with you in your healing, and when you're suffering, that they will be there and just listen. Not necessarily give advice, but just listen. And as a family counselor, it's important also to get the family involved, because usually the wives and the children suffer as well. I remember stories from my mother. My dad was a World War II vet. He was on the boats coming down that you saw on Private Ryan. He was a medic. And I remember my mom said she would, when he came home, he would wake up in the night just swinging and hitting her, and it was terrifying. And that happens, and a lot of people don't understand that, and women will divorce their husbands because their husbands, or now wives, will clam up, and they don't want to talk about it because it's painful, and they think people don't understand. And yes, there are people who don't understand, but there's more people that do. And I just want you to please listen, and if you ever feel like you're this close or this close to ending your life, know that that's a short moment of pain, and you have a lifetime that you can live and learn from it and get help. So please, please, please reach out. There are people, and I'm one of them. I want to end with this beautiful story about my son, who I mentioned earlier is in the Coast Guard right now. He had just called me, actually today, and told me about an incident that happened a few days ago. He's in a training right now in another state. And two of his buddies in class had said that this one classmate of theirs had said that he wanted to die and he had a plan. So they told my son this, and he was very concerned about it, and my son said, we need to do something about this. So the other two soldiers said, okay, we'll get together and we'll go to him and talk to him. Well, a few days went by, and my son followed up with it, and they didn't. They just forgot about it. My son said, this is unacceptable. He said, I can't live with myself if something happens, because it's very important that you take seriously when somebody says they want to die and have a plan. You have to act immediately. So he went to the young man, about 20 years old, and told him that he would be there for him in any way, would listen to him, and it was going to, he was going to be there for him in any way if he ever wanted to talk. Then my son went to the chaplain and talked to him to get a consult on what to do. And the chaplain said, you did the right thing, son, because he will be able to get this young man the help and the resources. So because my boy took the time and the effort to listen and to care for somebody's life and that they were in pain, he sought help, and now I look at it as he probably saved a young man's life. And that's important to me, and that's what we as a community, as a society, that we're all in little villages, and we need to look out after everybody and seek help when somebody is in pain. It doesn't mean you have to do everything for them, but just one little thing can propel it into a very positive movement for anybody in pain. Thank you for listening.